I'm Judea Murray, and here on a positive note, we highlight the most heartwarming stories from all around our tri-state that move and inspire us. Now, some people say art is the best form of therapy, so some students from Kingsborough Community College are visiting dementia care residents, and together, they're making mindful masterpieces.
Art therapy has a big impact on them. It not only helps them with their physical conditions, but it also gives them a better quality of life where they're not just sitting around.
Through an intergenerational program called Opening Minds Through Art, students from Kingsborough Community College work with dementia care residents at the Menorah Center to create these artworks you see behind the glass.
Those small moments where you see yourself getting through to them feels like you're seeing a whole new side of them.
The students visited the nursing home weekly as part of their mental health studies at the college. For many, this was the first time working with the elderly.
In the beginning, I was nervous, I was scared.
One student sharing her memory of a resident who actually passed away during the course of their collaboration.
And that was also very teaching in regards to the circle of life and how important it is for us to give these residents the attention that they need, especially towards the end of their journey.
Many of the residents' family members aren't able to visit as often as they like, and you'd hear the residents many times saying that the students reminded them of their children or their grandchildren. I think it really did give them a lot of motivation to be creative.
Sounds like a win-win to me. Now, speaking of which, maybe it was fate. But these two NYPD officers who have never formally met are now bound together for life. When Sergeant William Gaspari heard that fellow officer Tommy Alexander needed a new kidney, he stepped up to the plate, despite having never met him before. Sergeant Gaspari wasn't a perfect match for Officer Alexander, but through the donor voucher program, Officer Alexander was given a voucher to receive a matched kidney because of the sergeant's donation to someone else.
I mean, this has been building for a while because, you know, I've known him for a long time without ever meeting him just because of everything, and it was definitely a cascade of emotions there.
Now it's just fantastic, you know. I've got my freedom back, I can do things now. I can even come back to work here, you know, so it's cool.
We hear Officer Alexander is officially off dialysis. Now the two Brooklynites say they hope that this is just the start of a lasting friendship. Now, one thing the pandemic has taught many of us is that good health should never be taken for granted. That became abundantly clear for little Stella in Austin, New York. She's giving back to kids in a place she knows all too well, the Children's Hospital.
When you ask kids what's on their holiday wish list, they might say trucks, dolls, games. But this 7-year-old has something different on her mind.
I want for Christmas, when the kids in the hospital get these toys, I want them to bring a smile to their face.
When Stella Fosgate was 4, a virus almost put her in a wheelchair. She had to spend Christmas at Maria Ferrari Children's Hospital. And while her family showered her with gifts, she realized not all kids were as lucky.
I keep remembering in the hospital what it felt like, so I don't want that to happen to other kids.
Now, Stella's legs work perfectly. So this is her 3rd year running her annual toy drive for Maria Ferrari.
Come on, high five.
This year, her friends helped paint ornaments to sell.
Do you want to buy one?
And she's partnered with local businesses for more toy donation sites. So far, they've collected nearly $8,000 in 400 toys.
Thank you.
Double last year's amount.
Thank you guys for buying all the ornaments.
As a parent, learning from your child is an amazing thing, and you know, having gone through what we did as a family and coming out so much more grateful for what we have to give back, it's very special.
Stella knows these toys symbolize hope and happiness for hospitalized kids, so she has even bigger goals for next year.
I hope one day that it gets to more than one hospital.
You know what that sound means. It's time for a feel-good fact. GoFundMe just released their annual giving report. It includes a ranking of the most generous states in America. Did you know Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York all rank top 10? This list is based on the amount of donations made throughout the year supporting individuals, causes, and organizations. It looks like the people in our tri-state are dedicated to living life on a positive note. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was your feel-good fact. Now, if that got you in the spirit of giving, turn the volume up on this next one. There are all sorts of unique community service opportunities around New Jersey, including raising a puppy. The Seeing Eye is a nonprofit based in Morristown. They're up to their snouts and fur babies needing a little TLC, and maybe you can be of service. Take a look.
Warm and cuddly Claudia is 7 weeks old. Quiet and calm Abraham, just 7 months. Both are being raised through the Seeing Eye in Morristown to one day work as guide dogs. And both are living with what the Seeing Eye calls puppy raisers.
They're a lot like newborns. It's a lot at first, but so worth it. To hear the graduates talk about what a difference these dogs make in their lives makes it all worth it.
Gina O'Rourke and her daughter Sydney are raising Abraham. He is their third dog. Claudia is the 24th dog, which Brooke Kerdrewski and her family are fostering, prepping dogs to see for those who cannot. She has tried to expose her dogs to as many life circumstances as possible.
They've traveled on the metro and they've gone into the U.S. Capitol and they've worked in the Senate before. So just getting these dogs well-rounded and exposed to so many different things is just incredible.
They are just 2 of the 350 families acting as puppy raisers. The organization would like to get back to 500 families. Jill Jaycox is in charge of puppy development.
They're doing the housebreaking, they're teaching them house manners.
Jaycox says you can have other dogs or even cats at home or have no pets at all to be chosen. But after raising your puppy, you'll need to hand him over to train for the next 4 months. Letting go is not always easy, but once puppy raisers see them helping those who are blind to live independently, it's all worth it. We asked Brooke what that's like.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get teary. Incredible.
Fun fact, the Seeing Eye has been placing dogs with visually impaired owners since 1929. They say around every dark cloud is a silver lining. Well, Brian Sapphire of Long Island is finally finding his. The volunteer firefighter lost his job during the pandemic and then received a life-altering diagnosis. But through it all, he refuses to let the flames of life consume him.
I love you so much. I really do.
These are the type of moments Brian Sapphire of Malvern hopes to have more of.
I'm cherishing every moment I have with my baby girl.
That's because the 33-year-old father and volunteer Malvern firefighter was just diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma, a type of rare brain cancer seen in only 81 adults each year.
It is an aggressive cancer, so those are things that scare me.
Brian comes from a big family. Growing up in Lindenhurst, his 5 siblings have now rallied behind him through this devastating diagnosis.
It's heartbreaking. He's a strong guy, he's a fighter. His mind's in the right place right now. He's holding up as best as he can, and he's gonna fight this like a champ.
But it's also his bigger, extended family.
Oh, there he is.
At the Malvern Fire Department that has kept his spirits up during this difficult time.
Being a volunteer firefighter, he's still wanting to be here. He's still wanting to help out and do whatever he can despite his diagnosis, and that's a true testament to the person that he is.
Brian was a Lindenhurst volunteer firefighter for 14 years until recently when he joined the Malvern Fire Department.
When he came here from Lindenhurst, he really hit the ground running to do everything that he could from day one.
His fellow firefighters say Brian is the type of guy who always helps others.
He helps out, he doesn't shy away from lending a hand to anybody else, so it's our turn to lend him a hand.
Brian lost his job as a stagehand during the pandemic and had to move in with his mother-in-law in Malvern. So now a GoFundMe page has been set up to help Brian and his family with everyday expenses.
My daughter and my wife, I gotta be around for them, and I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna go the whole 9 yards if I have to.
Brian, you got this. Now, wait until you hear this next one. When a Bridgeport woman felt the pressures of her situation weighing down on her, she mustered up her strength to admit she needed help. And because she was so brave, we have this story of what she calls her holiday miracle.
55-year-old Jolene Cyril of Bridgeport says unlike last year, this holiday season is not filled with joy due to a major change in her life.
Are you okay?
Her 18-year-old son Emmanuel, who has cerebral palsy, requires around-the-clock care, and she provides it. Jolene says her 81-year-old mom used to help until the mom had a stroke earlier this year.
My blood pressure sometimes very high.
Virtually overnight, Jolene became the sole caregiver for now 2 disabled family members.
I don't have no break. Every day I'm working hard for them. It's not easy for me, but I'm trying to do the best because it's my job, it's my life job.
The toughest part right now, she says, is having to lift the teen without anybody to help her.
I'm so sorry.
But a News 12 Connecticut viewer who learned about the situation has now come forward to donate a $1,000 lift so Jolene can move her son with ease. And Senator Richard Blumenthal says his office will work with the family to help them get home care using newly available emergency federal dollars.
We can save money and lives by giving people the care they need at home rather than some institutional setting.
A little family facing a big hardship is getting at least some help this holiday season.
I'm so happy you coming to help me. I'm so glad.
That donor, by the way, asked to remain anonymous.